Praise the Lord, everybody. I'm so glad to be here with you again on the Day of Victory Ministries. And we're here in the studio. And you know how it is. Linda Hicks is here. She's going to always want to be bringing somebody here that's got a special message of some sort for you, to encourage you, to challenge you, to share with what God has done. And today, even before I introduce to you, I'm going to tell you her name, Bernestine Haselrig McLeod. And we've been wanting to do this for over a year now. But in the meantime, if you see my face and eyes and stuff like that looking a little bit puffy, you know how we are. We're just kind of real and transparent. I had one of my other sisters come in here earlier today. You're going to see her. And she preached the message, and I got all teary-eyed and happy and glad and everything. So this is real life. And I just want to say, I'm just so glad that you're my audience and you're here. And Bernestine is here in the house, and she has come to tell us her journey of what God has done for her.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank
Praise
you.
God. Hallelujah. So glad to have you with us.
Wonderful to be here.
Bernestine is my friend from way back.
Yes, many years.
Many years. And what I want to do is just talk to your audience, and I just want you to just pull your seat in and just engage in this conversation that we're going to have. We're going to talk about her early life and her family and her life as a person in high school, and just go from there and let you see what God has actually done in her life. So with that being said, young lady,
yes,
just tell us a little bit about who you are. I do know that you are the eldest of three.
Yes. Born here in Greenville, but we lived in Ayden for a while, and then we moved to Greenville. I'm the oldest of three. I have a younger sister, a younger brother, and
what do they do?
Oh, my sister, she's an algebra teacher, and my brother is an artist.
He's an artist. And your background profession is?
I'm a nuclear medicine technologist.
Say that one again for the audience. Good. Say it slowly for me, too.
I'm a nuclear medicine technologist. I'm a proud graduate of Pitt Community College nuclear medicine program.
And that's going to come a little bit later, even in our interview, of how that came about, right? Or you want to talk to me about that now? How did you come about
that? Well, I've always been interested in the medical field. That's always been my bent in life: science, chemistry, all of that stuff. And at first, I went the long route. I started in nursing because that was kind of like the obvious for a female. You go into nursing. And that really wasn't it, and so got a nice little introduction into technology, and when I learned about it, I really liked it. And I started out in X-ray and wanted to branch out wanted to specialize, so I did nuclear medicine, and I really love it.
And right now, you're, thank you, and right now, you don't live here in the region of Pitt County.
Right. I got started here, but after I got married, my husband wanted to move to California.
Oh.
And so that happened after I had decided to do travel work.
Okay. All right.
And worked in several states. I worked in North Carolina, South Carolina, Kansas, and ended up in California. And while I was there, I was dating Eugene, and he said he might want to move to California. So I said, okay.
Where love takes you, you go. Thank you. We'll come back to that in just a few minutes. I want to ask you a little bit about your background as far as high school. What did you, because you did live here, you told me before that you were in sports and things of that nature.
Yes, my father was very much a sports person. He went to A&T on basketball scholarship, and he wanted his kids to play sports. So we always kind of knew that, but when we were in high school or in junior high, there weren't sports for girls back then. Actually, me and my sister were on the first basketball team that ACOC had. They didn't have basketball at the time, so we're in their first basketball team, and they only had tennis. So we played tennis.
You played tennis. That's
eighth
what
grade,
you had, so they played tennis.
Right, but I knew we were supposed to go out for whatever they had. And you know, the tall girls, they always like to kind of, you know, push you into sports, you know, in general. But we enjoyed it,
but
really
you did
enjoyed it.
Basketball,
basketball,
tennis, basketball, and
track in high school. I threw the shot put and discus.
Okay.
And actually,
that's where you
throw
that
thing, and I held the record in both my senior year.
See, I'm being real transparent. Sometimes I know just a little bit to get me in trouble.
Right.
But go ahead, talk to us a little bit more.
You throw at 8. It was for the girls. It was 6 pounds, and for the guys, it was 8 pounds. Little iron ball, and you just throw it as far as you can, and it's a matter of technique and form to throw it as far as you can.
And you did that.
I did it.
And you enjoyed that, didn't you?
I
see the smile on your face.
I did. I like the discipline. I like the improvement over time as you do the things that the coach has instructed you. You're able to see the improvement over time, and it really. I did it for 2 years. That's
good
I
to
really
hear.
enjoyed it.
Audience, you're getting to know a little bit more about Miss Bernestine Haselrig. Do you remember that's her maiden name, Haselrig McLeod? Do you know that name from this county, Pitt County? You want to tell a little bit about Mom and Dad?
Yes, my father was principal at Bethel Elementary, and then he was principal at Bethel Middle. Very involved in community service with NAACP, with all Teachers Association, with Boy Scouts, so many things. I call him Mr. Pitt County.
Mr. Pitt County made a very big impact, while he was here. Yes. African American, very positive influence in the county. And I wanted to make sure
I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere
without someone
saying,
"Aren't you a Haselrig?" They would say. So,
yes.
So, but you did your physical, your degree and your bachelor's degree.
I did a bachelor's degree.
I'm using my cheat notes. Here.
I did a bachelor's degree in East Carolina, physical education.
Did your education?
That really wasn't what I wanted. That was my first degree, and but I was glad I got it because a lot of places they want you to have a bachelor's degree. So it really helped me a lot.
And then from there
I went to Pitt Community College. For something that was more my interest and my talents.
And that was, again?
Nuclear medicine.
Nuclear medicine. And I see here on my notes that those certain things would lead you to other places so that you could be more lucrative.
Yes. With nuclear medicine, there were a lot of opportunities that came my way. They really needed the knowledge. They needed people who could fill in for people who were out for any reason, sickness, maternity leave. And I would go and fill in for them during that time. It was a 3 to 4 month assignment, and I would relocate. You know, I would hotel, rental car, and daily stipend to live in another state.
And that was a joy to you.
Very much. So my father's from Pennsylvania, so I've been traveling 500 miles to Pennsylvania since I was 3 months old.
Okay.
So that travel is in my blood. I've always loved it. And because of that, I could never see myself in one place for 30 to 40 years. It just, in my head, it just wasn't right for me. I knew I wanted to do something that I could get out and see and experience. And be
in community and working with people.
Right.
And doing outside with, well, I said community, neighbors and people like that.
Right, and being able to travel and see new people and new experiences was very exciting to me.
And that's what you had an opportunity to do.
Yes.
I want to say to you, audience, as we're talking, there's a story behind the story, and this is why I wanted to have Bernestine to come to tell you, because we look at people in many instances and we see their life, and it looks so picture perfect and everything, and we're so thankful that many times people do have almost picture perfect, but you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And this lady has had a journey,
yes,
that was a shock and a surprise to her, a shock and a
so.
surprise to many of the rest of us. And so she's going to, I want her to tell us her journey, her story of what God has done in her life in her own way. So again, reel yourself on in and tell somebody else to come up to the sofa, to the table, and just listen of what we face. A real enemy in this world. He comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But Jesus has come, hallelujah, to give us life and to give it to us more abundantly. And if, with that being said, I'm going to bring it right on back to you. Just tell me a little bit about you stayed here for a while and you did those types of things, and traveling and
move on and enjoying life.
Enjoying life.
Enjoying it. I'm just saying.
And wanted to always kind of like, what, wanted to be married?
Always wanted to be married.
Had you always wanted to be married?
When I was younger, I thought I wanted to be like Mary Tyler Moore, you know, just be single and work and, you know. But as I got older, I really wanted to have someone to share my life with, you know. And I prayed and believed the Lord for the right one. And, you know, time took me longer than I thought, but you know, I didn't want to just marry someone just because I wanted to be married. I wanted to marry someone who I felt like we had a heart connection and who the Lord would want me to be with. Because I didn't want to just get married to get married. I wanted to be married for life. So,
and how long have you been married now?
This is 15 years now.
Praise God.
Yes,
and what is
that? Eugene.
What is that young man's name?
His name is William Eugene McLeod.
William Eugene McLeod. And he's a, we talk about him sometimes. He's a jewel, isn't he?
Eugene is, he's my love. Yes, he is. He's my rock. When this situation arose, my husband is in the healthcare field also. So, which I didn't really know all about, but he had seen several of his coworkers go through situations like what I was in. So he knew the emotions and the different things that they go through, and I was really shocked at how he was able to minister to me. I was like, wow.
So you're gonna
and he was very comforting. First thing he said to me when I had to give him the news, which
go back to that time.
It was very difficult.
And you know what? I'm gonna say this to your audience too. Like I said, real people. If we get to crying, you get your box of tissues and things like that. I got mine right back here.
Right.
I cry with those who cry. I laugh with those who laugh.
Because I'm basically a happy person. I don't like to go around talking about bad people, bad things bringing you down or whatever. And I felt like with this news, I was carrying a machete and I was going around cutting up folks. That's how I felt. I'm like, I don't want to say this to you because it's not going to help you. It's not going to make you feel good. It's going to, I don't know what it's going to do, but it's not a good thing. So I was going through for at least a year a series of feeling more tired. It was just a gradual increase, and I didn't really know what to make of it. Took me longer and longer to do things. I was more tired. I couldn't hardly walk to my car. And I was like, I don't know what the world's going on with me, but I know something was wrong. Finally went to the urgent care, and they told me there's something wrong, and you need to get your husband. I was like, well, that's not good news. So I called him. I said, Eugene, you need to come. We sat down with the doctor, and he said, you have your white cells are through the roof.
Your what?
My white cell count was through the roof. You have some type of lymphoma. And I looked.
You continue to talk. Sometimes it helps me to remember, and I take notes from those who I interview.
So me and my husband just said, well, what do we do? They said, you need to see an oncologist. So I went, and they told me that I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
And I knew it all too well because nuclear medicine is what is used to actually help diagnose. So in my profession, I did my test on patients with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But I'm like, yes, for 10 years. And I'm like, I'm not the one that's supposed to have it.
It's not supposed to happen.
Right, it wasn't supposed to be me. I was like very
healthy.
And I knew exactly what was going on with the whole thing. And but I couldn't figure out why did it hit me. So
and I think something that you told me a while back when we were thinking about doing this, you told me that you weren't smoking, you weren't, tell me those
right.
things.
My family, my father, my mother, we never smoked, we never drank, we never did drugs, we never did anything like that. We basically lived as healthy a life as we knew with all the exercise, with the sports that we were in. We felt like we were really healthy people, and that this kind of thing, could bypass someone with a lifestyle like ours.
You had a healthy lifestyle, and that's a shock.
Very much shocked. I couldn't believe it. I laid in the bed for a couple of days just thinking about it. But my husband, in his wisdom, knew about how people react to this thing and how really the emotions of it can overtake you. So he looked at me and he just said straight to me, Bernestine, do not give up.
Okay, he said
you have to promise me that you will not give up. And it was like very stern, and I was like, okay, I won't give up. But at the time, I couldn't really think straight. I just knew that I, had to get help. So at that point, the Lord had already had me working at a cancer hospital for 5 years. And I knew that I was going to go to that hospital because I had seen what they do. They're top of the country. It was
Can you name the hospital?
Rice. I can't remember. It'll come to me. But I knew I was going to work at this hospital. And I knew I was going to go to this hospital
because they
get the treatment.
Because they were the type of people and you worked there, that give complete care.
Yes.
From the front door with the receptionist all the way.
Right. Exactly. City of Hope.
City of
Hope Cancer Hospital. So I went there, and of course, with my diagnosis, we didn't really know how far along I was. So then when I had my PET scan, which that's what we do in nuclear medicine, found out that I was stage 4. And that's the highest.
And that's the highest level.
Yes, it is.
And what year was that, honey?
This was 2017.
2017. 2017.
I knew that there were very, very good treatments, and I knew I had the Lord. All I knew was that the Lord was carrying me at that time. It was very scary. My husband was with me the whole while, taking me to my appointments, and they're with me. After I went for the initial consultation with the oncologist, let me know that I was very sick and that we need to start treatment right away. So went through a battery of tests to make sure that my body could handle the chemotherapy, make sure my kidneys were okay, my lung was okay, everything. They checked everything out.
You have to do all that
before you can even get, because the chemo is very toxic. It can really it can kill you in and of itself.
Okay.
So it's very dangerous.
Tell me and tell the audience that, so somebody else might know this better than I do.
Yes, I did a whole battery of tests. creatinine clearance, which is to make sure that your kidneys are working fine, make sure your lungs are working okay. I had to do a breathing test. You have to make sure my heart, I had an echocardiogram. You have to, your heart, because it can affect your heart also.
So is that like you have to try to make they want to make sure that your heart is strong enough?
It's strong enough to take it, exactly.
And the reason that I'm asking this in so much detail for your sake as well, for the audience sake as well, and for mine, that there are so many times that when someone gets a diagnosis like this, they panic, and then sometimes the enemy will, you know, especially you're a Christian, you love the Lord, you have faith in the Lord. Yes. Did all those kind of things go through your mind? Because how in the world is this happening to me? And then comes sometimes whether or not well, have faith in God, and sometimes some people decide that they will not go and get any treatment. Right. And then there are those that and as a result of that, sometimes when they don't go get treatment, am I saying this right? They could have, their life could have been sustained. Could have been.
You know, I guess everyone has to kind of do what their conscience tells them to do, or what they feel like is best for them.
Talk about that.
I just think that the Lord can work through anything. I don't think that we have to limit him to don't do this or don't do that. I mean, if the treatments are there, he had a hand in creating them. I mean, for our benefit. So, you know.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this to you as an audience. I didn't originally say it, someone else said it, that so many times it takes faith in any level.
It does.
On all walks of life. And I'm saying that to you who might be scared and going through a whole bunch of crazy stuff, but it takes faith. God could put doctors and nurses and the medical professionals here, and someone said this, and you might, I hope you don't get offended by this, but it didn't bother me when the minister said it. So many times, some of us have to get to a place of building our faith in something, and sometimes people have gone without getting treatment.
The treatments, yeah.
Because they thought they had the faith, had built up to it, and they're not with us now. But many people have gone and received treatment that they needed, and it did do some other damage, but you learn how to do what you need to do. I know I'm not talking medical terminology, and they live. And many people, even Christians, that they're still here because God is a God of all, say it for me, God is a God who will minister to you wherever you are, wherever your faith is.
Right. And the thing is, there are no guarantees with anything, you know. Like the doctor told me, he said, we can get rid of this. He said, but it may come back. So the thing about it is that you go through the treatment, and as I was going through the treatment, because I was basically a healthy person before I got sick, the doctors were saying I was going through it very easily at the beginning. He was very surprised at how I bounced back from after the treatment, because once you get the treatment, then they wait to see for your white counts will go down, and then you have to wait for them to rebound before you can go home. And I had 4 sessions in the hospital of the chemotherapy. And each time, the first time I came out pretty good. He said that I was strong, and because I was strong and healthy at the beginning, that it really helped a lot. And as I went through, I got a little weaker and a little weaker, and by the time the 4th time came, I had lost over 70 pounds, and it was funny. My pants was falling off of me. My husband's like, whose pants you got on? I'm like, well, they're mine, but I'm not the same.
You're just not the same.
No, my appetite left, and the food didn't taste as good, and I I really love good food.
Mm-hmm. You
And,
do. You do.
I love
You
good,
do.
but
And I love going out to eat with you because
and at the time I couldn't enjoy my food because it takes away your taste buds.
Is that the chemo?
Yeah, the
Okay.
chemotherapy also takes away your taste buds. So I could eat, but it would turn into taste like paste. So the food didn't taste good anymore. So I could maybe do 2 or 3 bites, and then that would be it.
I want to go to something else that I want to say this to you, audience. We're not finishing this, but we're going to come back in a little bit. I'm looking at the time, but we're going to continue this and then go into another section. But at the point of your first finding out about this,
Yes.
you and Eugene went through this by yourself.
We did.
And tell us.
Thank you for bringing that up. Because I know my sister is a very sensitive person, and I knew that it would be devastating to her based on the fact that we had just lost both parents and she had helped to take care of them up until their passings. I didn't want to really dump this on her in the middle of the school year. I did. Plus, at the time, I found it difficult to talk about myself. Very difficult. I felt like I was like giving it life. I felt like I was validating it to me when I'm like, this is foreign, this is not me, this is something that doesn't belong to me. I didn't want to continue to like talk it up. So the less I said, the better I felt. I just wanted to go through my day, don't talk about it, want to act like it's not even there, do what I got to do, get it over with, get it out of me.
Get it out of you.
Just let it be gone. And just, not concentrate on.
So it wasn't a matter of trying, and I'm saying this purpose, it wasn't a matter of you trying to hide.
No.
Behind. You were protective of other people,
Yeah.
and you were protective of how much you weren't trying to give life to it.
No, I didn't want to act like it was something that
you weren't in denial.
No.
Am I putting words in your mouth? Because I'm trying to make sure
I wasn't in denial. I did not want to continue to talk about it. It just was not something, subject I wanted to engage in. And the more the people that know about it, the more people you have to tell. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking to you,
because
I didn't even want to talk to the doctor about it. I'm just going, just tell me I'm fine. Just let me go. And I kept asking him, well, when am I going to go back to work? And I'm like,
And that's where you are. Audience, we're going to take a break from this and let Bernestine and I both just chill just for a few minutes, and we'll come back in just a few minutes, and she'll take up and be able to tell the rest of her story. It is as you're looking at her, it's a journey from wholeness and wellness, a journey where the enemy, not God, the enemy comes in to steal, kill, and to destroy.
Yeah.
But that is not the end of the story. Praise God. This is your day of victory. This is your day of victory.